Hi, welcome everybody. This is a very important topic that we wanted to cover for all our learners at the MMDC family and even outside. English is a pain point, not just for you, but for the entire of India. We have discussed it multiple number of times in our particular classes, in our workshops, in our 21-day challenge, and it's very imperative that if you know English, you should be able to speak it out, because however intelligent you might be, it does not make any sense if you're not able to speak your mind out, and you have to speak that fluently and confidently. Now both of these things comes with practice, and what we call at MMDC with smart practice. It's very important. And you all know that people in today's date, you have to understand that English is a passport to your success. Just like you require a passport to go to any foreign country, you require English to get into any corporate job. Even the government jobs today have interviews or the selection process which requires you to be proficient in English. It's very important. So we can indirectly or directly say that it is directly equivalent to the amount of money in your pocket. Your amount of fluency, your amount of confidence is directly proportional to the money that you're earning in your life. Now, as per research, we have shared this with you earlier also, but we have done some recent research. Research says that your salary can go up as high as 34%. So if you're earning 10 lakh rupees, it can become 13.4 lakh rupees just because you know English. A 34% hike in your salary can happen if you can communicate efficiently, confidently, and fluently in English. And if you're not learning English, every year, all those students, all those graduates, all those engineers who are not very good in English, who have done their graduation from uh, their mother tongue, they are actually facing a problem and they're losing 60,000 per year. 5,000 loss every month people in India are suffering if they do not know English. If you know English, suddenly you will find you have better job prospects. Now, this is the man, Louis Von Am. He's the founder of Duolingo. And the reason why he founded Duolingo was to cure one particular problem from the world. And the problem was he wanted to bring education to the masses. And if you want to bring education to the masses, he found out that if you can teach the language to people, a foreign language to people, they will be able to connect with each other better, learn from each other better, and the entire world will grow. This Duolingo app has the highest number of downloads, has the highest number of people who are interacting on this particular app. And the reason why he started this entire initiative, many of you even would be on Duolingo to learn English. You can also learn English on Duolingo. That's also possible. But the reason why he started, he wanted to make learning addictive. In his own words, I'll tell you something very interesting. In his own words, what he says about Duolingo, or what he talks about this entire learning thing, he says that in today's day, there are 2 billion people, 200 crore people who are trying to learn one language or the other to increase their chances of success in their career. That is what is actually happening right now. And out of 200 crore, 80% of them, that is 160 crore, are learning English. So first thing first, you are not alone. And many of them are using Duolingo as a platform right now. So what Louis Von Ahn says, he says that language is like broccoli, but we need to make it like a desert. He's telling that basically what he's telling indirectly or directly is that language is a difficult thing to master. Language is like bitter. It's not that tasteful, but we have to make it tasty. How do we make it tasty? That is what his app does. That is what Duolingo tries to do. They are trying to make a difficult thing easy. So how is he doing it? There is a lot of research he has done, and we'll be sharing some of those researches with you. But the basic thing is you have to understand. Just like you can take one another example, as in when people uh, you when I give you a Karela, all bitter gourd. If I give you bitter gourd, it's not that tasteful. You not like the taste of it. but you know that it has got medicinal properties. So English is also very difficult to learn, but you know the charm that can, charm and attractiveness that can happen if you know that particular language. So he compared it very, very simply, and he brought it, his particular analogy, I really liked it. And this is the analogy that he gives. Suppose you want to learn maths. Okay. So if a particular person wants to study maths, he does his plus two, he does his mathematics honors, BSc, bachelor's, then he does his master's in math, then he does a PhD, and then he gets a job. On the other hand, if somebody just is in his plus two and he's a very fluent speaker and he starts getting a job in a call center, just by knowing this one particular skill, which is English. So English is that, it gives you kind of immediate success. The success is really close if you are fluent and confident in English. And that is why it's important. And that is why this particular class, we're trying to make it even more easier at MMDC, right? So what are your actionables? If you want to improve your English, what are your actionables? Number one step, I'll give you 5-step framework. Most of these things we are already doing into our system, but still, for the sake of simplicity, I'll repeat those things for you so that you become very, very clear. Step number one is you need to have a love for English. If you don't love English, if English is like a pain point for you, then it will never, never happen. That's step number one. You'll have to create, because there's no choice for you. If you don't know English, anyways, you're going to get rejected in your interview. So you have to build that love for English. You'll have to spend, just like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, try to spend more time, try to understand, try to look at your girlfriend and boyfriend English from multiple number of angles so that you can become acquainted with it. That is step number one. You'll have to generate that love for English. And if you're doing that, only and only then you will be able to move to the next step. Now, what is the next step? The next step is, I'll quote this Cal Newport over here. He's the author of great books in terms of how to focus on something, how to get your job done easier, how to do your jobs done in a smarter way. So he has done an episode on YouTube, which is basically by the name of Make Learning as Addictive as Social Media. How can you make learning addictive? Because we are trying over here to master English confidence. So how can we make it as addictive as possible? Can we make it addictive? So the point is that we can make it addictive, if we have the concept of episodic future thinking. Now, once again, this is a complicated term, so let me make it very, very simple. It's basically asking, what Col Newport is saying, that suppose there are two options in front of you. One is Instagram and one is the boring English lesson. Which one will you choose? Now, most of us will choose TikTok. Most of us will choose Instagram, right? Because that is what social media has done to us. We are all kind of slaves to that particular social media in today's date. Most of us are, and we're spending a lot of time, wasting a lot of our time on social media. So there should be something in learning, there should be something in the way the learning is done, the way English is learned. There should be something, the process should be so interesting that the person leaves social media and starts learning. How can we do that? And that is where the episodic future thinking comes in, right? So I'll explain what that is. So basically, you have to visualize yourself. It's the process of creative visualization. You have to visualize yourself, and you have to give auto suggestions to your brain, right? So if I want to get fit, I'll give you my story also sometime later. I'll give you my story of how I transformed into, I lost around 3 to 4 kgs, and I started having better looking stomach comparatively by following this particular process of creating visualization. I had my mobile wallpaper as the future self. And that's very, very important. For all of you who want to learn English, step number two is that you have to have a future self imagination. You have to imagine yourself 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, of how your life will become when you know English and when you speak maybe like me, right? Okay, when you are actually very, very fluent in English, how will your life be like? How much success you will be having, how much people will be praising you. And that is an exercise that we make all of you do. If you look at what we do make you do in the 3-day workshop, we make you do this exercise. We make you imagine your future self. Imagine your confidence after 21 days. Imagine the fluency you will be having. Imagine the impressions and the compliments you'll be getting from your friends and relatives. Imagine you are at the center of the attraction of the party. You're signing autographs for people. You're giving big, big lectures. We make people imagine. You have to imagine. So, in this particular process of imagination, what is the best case of imagination that you can do for yourself for learning English, for becoming confident in English? Because your mind is a receiver. It's actually a receiver. If you start radiating the right kind of frequencies, the right kind of messages will start getting downloaded. Your mind will auto program itself into success. What you need to do is you need to be visualizing yourself. You have to imagine yourself 10 times better in your fluency, whichever level you are right now. Just imagine you start speaking like a CEO. Just imagine Sundar Pichai or Indra Nooyi, the way they speak. Look at the way they speak, and imagine when you're closing your eyes and you can see yourself speaking in English, you're speaking as fluent as them, as confident as them. And this is a visualization exercise that you need to be doing. Maybe have a wallpaper, maybe have a poster in your room where you are actually imagining yourself that you are speaking very, very well. That is step number two. No, I have personally done that. In my particular case, I told you when I was not able to lose. I was working with ICICI Bank and it was a sitting job, desk job. I had to work from 9 till maybe 9 in the night, 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. I was working at that point of time. So I had developed a tummy, and to get rid of the tummy was very difficult. But how did I do that? By creative visualization. I always used to, see. It took me 3 to 4 years. Okay. But when I did the creative visualization part, the results came much, much faster. Right? What did I do? I was imagining myself in the future. Okay, fine. My tummy will look like this. When I look myself in the mirror, it I will look like this. And that really helped. And that will help you in this particular case also. Right? And this is not a process which I am giving. Okay, please. It's not my process. This is not my advice. These are one of the world's best, in terms of focus, in terms of goals, in terms of hacking, in terms of getting results. Call Newport, and the particular person who built, he's a professor at a very esteemed college. They are giving this kind of advice. It's not my advice alone. Okay, but we're already making you do all of these things in our episode, in our particular challenge, in our 21-day challenge. If you look at it, we ask you when you come in to the MMDC process, we ask you to imagine that on the 21st day, after 30th day, you'll be giving your particular presentation. You'll be giving an interview in front of 10 different people. Then if you look at it, what we do, we keep on giving you motivation in terms that you give your first video with MMDC, we praise you. You do your second video, 5 videos, we praise you with a silver tag. You give your 10 videos, we give you a golden tag. Why are we doing it? We're just pushing you towards your creative visualization, that you are going to become like maybe a CEO. Maybe you're going to speak like a CEO, and we're just pushing you towards that. Motivation is very, very necessary, because we are fighting a very difficult battle. English is boring, but we want to make it interesting by adding these kind of elements. So we have a platinum tag when you make 15 videos, and if you make 21 plus videos, we give you the director's cut award. Right? Why are we doing that? We are giving you small doses of dopamine. Your brain releases dopamine. That's a chemical. I'm just look at the scientific process that we have designed for MMDC for all of you. If you're not able to get results even after that, then it's very, very difficult to get results in any other scenario. So what we're doing in this particular entire process is we're giving you every small win that you make. The first video, we give you a certificate. Your second video, we give you a certificate. Your fifth video, we give you a certificate. Why? We are celebrating your small wins. Why? Because your brain will, start liking it. Okay, 10 people liked me. 10 people appreciated me. Your brain will release dopamine, and then you'll feel like doing the same activity again and again. Otherwise, language is a very boring thing. Trust me. And that is not what I am saying. The founder of Duolingo says that language is like broccoli. It's like cauliflower, just like broccoli, some vegetable, just like cauliflower. It's not that tasty, but we have to make it like dessert. Only then we will be able to hack the process or learn the process faster. Now, step number three. two things. We'll summarize it at the end of it. But step number three is make your videos. I think we have told it 1,000 number of times, maybe a lakh number of times, a crore number of times, that make your videos. It's the most important activity in this entire 21-day challenge, because then you are able to analyze yourself. You are fighting against your own self. Your day one will not be, will be, your day two will be better than your day one. Your day three will be better than your day four. And you keep on growing by 1% on a daily basis. You are able to analyze your own mistakes. You're able to delete some portions, trim some portions, or just discard the entire video. Why? Because you're able to analyze yourself. You see yourself. How do you sound? How do you look? How do you you know have a personality? Like, you're able to visualize yourself when you create a video, and that's very, very important. The 15-minute process that you do, it's very, very important, because that is a process in which you can analyze yourself. Now, next very, very important process, the part of it that we already do at MMDC, is having, being in a closed community of language parents, somebody who will be supporting you in this journey. Now, not everybody, from day one they were very good in fluency. Okay, my English was also really bad at some point of time. But when I'm starting, don't criticize me. Just like small learners, the learners are not criticized. So it's very, very important that criticism should be kept after 30 days, after 40 days. After you become fluent, then let grammar come in. Then start correcting your grammar. Then start looking for the faults in your English. But for the initial few days, just be in the community of people who are supporting you, who are cheering for you, who are motivating you, who are your cheerleaders. Just be in that community, because that's very, very important. It might be looking very small a thing, but it's very, very important, because what will take you through these 21, 30 days is your motivation. Now, step number four. Step number four is you have to start at 70. Most people, they keep on waiting that I will be perfect first, my grammar will be perfect first, my sentence formation will be perfect first, and then I will start speaking. And that day never comes, that 100 never comes. So don't wait for that 100. Wherever you are, whatever that your English, just open your mouth. There is a concept of zero mother tongue rule. Zero mother tongue rule. So if you want to improve, you have to open your mouth and speak in English. That's a bare minimum thing that you can do for yourself. It's very, very important. You have to speak, because if you don't speak, trust me, things are not going to move forward. And eventually you will achieve progress. But you have to start at 70. Don't wait even for 85. In fact, I read it somewhere recently, and from 85%, I brought that down to 70. Now, the new mantra at MMDC is start at 70. Don't even wait for 85, because even 85 is a very good score, right? So, start at 70. Even if you're decent, start, right? Very, very important. So, just keep on pushing ahead, pushing ahead. Now, before we go any step further, before we go to step five, let me ask you a question, a simple, particular question. How many hours out of 24 hours, how many hours do you give to your English right now? Can you put that in the chat box? I just want to read the responses. Just say 1 hour if you give to English, or 2 hours if you give to English, 3 hours. Just put that in the chat box. I want your answers. I want your responses before we go to step five. Can you just do that for me? I'm waiting for your responses. Yeah. Okay, Kavita. Yeah, Parmeshwaran. Yeah. Anybody else? See, we're expecting that we become, yes, Ramya, great, very good. So we're expecting that we become very, very fluent. Like, we speak English like our mother tongue. There's a particular phrase in English, speaking like a native, as if you were born in United States of America. So, was somebody who is born and brought up in United States of America, he'll be talking, listening, speaking for the entire 24 hours in English. And look at the hours you are spending in English. and you want to speak like a native. Is that possible? It's not possible. And this is the lack that you're doing. This is the thing that you're not doing. It's very, very essential. This is the situation right now. I hope you're able to see the picture properly. I hope the picture is clear in front of you. The picture shows it, that what is lacking. What is lacking is that you are giving very, very minimal amount of time to English right now. You're giving only 30 minutes per day or 1 hour per day, but you want to speak it as good as your mother tongue. Will it ever come? It's a very distant dream in that case, right? And that is why it's very, very important that you totally immerse yourself in English. The problem right now is, for many of the learners, you're able to make sentences, you're able to write in English. All those things are okay. But when it comes to speaking, you require a bigger bank balance. When you have enough of bank balance in your brain of English words, sentences, phrases, all those things, then words will start coming automatically. It will just be like a international aid debit card. You will go and swipe your debit card and words will start flowing automatically. Your checks will not bounce when you have enough amount of deposit. So how can you deposit? You can deposit by RSLW: reading, speaking, listening, writing. Increase the number of hours that you are giving right now to English. That is a bare minimal. Most of us are not doing that, and we're expecting that we'll be become very, very fluent in English, right? So step 5 and the last thing is, you have to master the 10,000 hour rule. Now, what does the 10,000 hour rule say? It was a very, very famous rule given by Malcolm Gladwell. And he said that if you want to become an expert at any particular given topic, you have to keep on practicing that particular thing for 10,000 hours. And then you'll automatically become the expert or the master of that particular topic. Just look at Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli was playing right since the age of 8, and he's 28 right now, suppose. For 20 years, 30 years, yes, 20 years he's been just playing cricket for approximately 10,000 hours or more than that. So if you practice English for 10,000 hours, you'll become a master. Okay, that's for sure. But I don't want to become a master, suppose. I just want to become an expert. I want to become fluent in English. How many hours are required? So they did a mathematics of that, and you can achieve 80. Look at a curve on the right hand side. If you follow the 10,000 hour rules, by the way, you'll have to start working 8 hours per day, 5 days a week, 44 weeks a year for 5.5 years. It will take you 5.5 years to become somebody like a Shakespeare. How many of you want to become a Shakespeare? I guess nobody, right? We just want to become fluent in English. How can we do that? We can get 80% results by just spending 2,000 hours in English. So what is the thing that you have to do? It's very simple, right? You have to spend 2,000 hours in English. And let me give you the good news. Maybe many of you have already covered your 100, 200, 300, 500 hours already. Because in the past also you have done something about your English, right? So that will also add up. And then what is left is maybe a 1,500 hours or maybe 1,000 hours or maybe an 800 hours of English practice of RSLW. That will give you your fluency, that will give you your confidence, that will give you the smartness. Okay, so let me just summarize it for everybody. First thing first, what we need to do is we need to be having a love for English. Without that love for English, trust me, no result is coming. Second thing, the episodic creative visualization. You have to keep on looking at a future self. You have to imagine yourself as a CEO. Let us make it very, very simple. Imagine that you're speaking like a CEO, like Sundar Pichai or maybe Indra Nui, if you're a male or a female. Now, you have to third thing what you have to do is you have to do a smart practice, and that is the process that we have given you. Smart practice. In just 15 minutes, you're doing RSLW, all of that. How? Create a video, create some notes, write it down, read something, write it down. Okay, then you speak, and then come to the 9:15 meeting, and then you listen to English. Or maybe you're watching a Netflix movie, maybe you're watching a Disney Star Hotstar movie, web series, whatever that is. So just keep on doing that 15-minute process, because that is smart practice. We're not giving you any kind of practice. We are absolutely not saying anywhere go and do grammar. No. we are totally against grammar. Whatever process we have talked about, it's kind of easy if you just keep on doing it, right? The next one is be in a community of language partners. You've got amazing language partners over here. I guess Parmeshwaran raised his hand today, and there are so many 4% club members who keep on raising their hand and they're willing to help you. But are you taking the help? Are you immersing yourself, which is the step number 5? Are you immersing yourself in English? You have to immerse yourself. You have to speak more and more and more. How many hours? 2000 hours. If you can speak for 2000 hours, you'll be able to get 80% of that expertise of an English pro. You'll become 80% of that master. So I'm leaving you with that particular food for thought. Just have that particular thing moving in your mind. It's very, very important. And for anybody watching this video online or offline, it's very important that you follow the process, because YouTube and all this, information overload that has happened, nobody is giving you the step-by-step process. We are trying to give you the step-by-step process at MMDC because we believe and we want to actually change the way English is learned, and we want to make you fluent, and we're always there for you. In case of any doubts and questions, you can just get back to us. Thank you so much. Real pleasure interacting with all of you right now. I'll be stopping the recording. Just give me a second.